Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video. Well, lately it just seems like all the news that's been circulating is about the PlayStation 5 and how it's going to be more powerful or more efficient than the Xbox Series X, that the SSD is going to make it outperform the Xbox Series X. Yet we know the full specifications of both Microsoft's Xbox Series X and Sony's PlayStation 5, and the PlayStation 5 is notably less powerful. Yet we still have developers coming out and saying that the PlayStation 5 will outperform the Xbox Series X, or that the PlayStation 5 is easier to develop with and they're going to get more power out of that system than the Xbox Series X. Now, one of the articles I'm going to talk about today is from WCCF Tech, and like usual, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Now, according to a developer, the raw power difference between the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X won't make that much of a difference for multi-platform titles. Now, the developer in question is for Quantum League, and his name is Balzar Agar, and he was speaking with Gaming Bolt, and his exact words were that he believes the power difference will mostly be noticeable for Xbox exclusives, as developers working on multi-platform titles will be bound to the lowest common denominator. Now, according to the designer, it's likely the power difference between the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X will only result in higher resolutions and more stable frame rates for multi-platform titles. Now, right there, that's a big difference. A higher resolution and more stable frame rates is a big difference. That doesn't say parity to me. And another thing I'm going to call out on this developer is that we already have the situation now with the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X. Now, we all know that PlayStation is the market leader this generation. They knocked it out the park, and they've sold over 100 million consoles. Now, they are the leaders, yet games look and run better on the Xbox One X. So right there, his theory is kind of thrown out the gate. Now, why is this developer saying this in the first place when he hasn't even worked on the Xbox Series X? He doesn't have any games that I know of that are in development on the Xbox Series X. So why is he even speaking on the matter? It just makes no sense to me. I don't even know who this developer is. I've never ever heard of the game Quantum League or the developers Quantum League. I don't know what they make. I'll probably look it up as I'm doing this video, and I'll probably put a description in the video, but I really don't know who he is. He doesn't make any AAA games that I've ever heard of. Nonetheless, he's saying that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X aren't going to have a big difference. Now, once again, I feel bad kind of raging on the PlayStation 5, because in all honesty, I think the PlayStation 5 is going to be a fully capable console. I think the games are going to look amazing on there, especially Sony's first party games. With up to 10 teraflops of performance on the PlayStation 5, games no doubt are going to look ridiculous. But at the same time, some of these, I would call them extremists or really diehard loyalist Sony fans, have to realize that the PlayStation 5 is weaker than the Xbox Series X, but it doesn't mean that the games are gonna look or run like crap. Games are gonna look good still. Anyways, we have another developer. Now, this one is coming from Crytek, and apparently he's some type of engineer over there. I don't know, they're talking about him on some of the forums, and there's an article up on him. I'll also link that in the description down below. And now this is in Persian, and some of the takeaways here is that he's saying that the PlayStation 5 is much better. It has the edge in architectural design, and because of that, it's gonna eke out more performance than the Xbox Series X. And this guy, he's not working on any games for the Xbox Series X. I don't even think he's working on any games for the PlayStation 5. So how is he talking on hardware that he hasn't worked with? And why are all the publications actually writing on these articles without vetting who these people are? Now, if you're not working on an Xbox Series X game or a PlayStation 5 game, I don't think you're qualified to say what's going to be more efficient unless you've had both consoles in your hands. And people just like to ignore the facts, like the specifications of the systems. The PlayStation 5 has 2,304 cores compared to the Xbox Series X 3,328 cores. The TMUs are more on the Xbox Series X at 208 compared to the 144 on the PlayStation 5. The ROPS are higher, the bus is higher. The Xbox Series X has a 320-bit bus compared to the 256-bit that the PlayStation 5 has, as well as the memory. The bandwidth is much better on the Xbox Series X than the PlayStation 5. Some gamers conveniently definitely forget that Xbox Series X has features confirmed for it that are not present on the PlayStation 5. Now, I'm not quite sure if Sony's going to have variable rate shading. I know their system is capable of doing it. It would just have to be a different method separate from what Microsoft is doing. But up to this point, Sony has not announced variable rate shading on the PlayStation 5. Now, if this feature is omitted from Sony's next generation machine, you could see a huge frame rate advantage for the Xbox Series X. So that's not just a little percentage. Like, some people like to put it at like 18%. Now, when you add all the advantages that the Xbox Series X has over the PlayStation 5, it's more than 18%. Games are going to look substantially better and they're going to run better on the Xbox Series X. But once again, this doesn't mean that games on the PlayStation 5 are going to look terrible. They are not. Games are also going to look and run fantastic on Sony's PlayStation 5. I think it's time for the games to be shown from both of these companies. I think the time to talk is over, and let's just cut out all the nonsense. Both of these consoles are going to be very capable. They're going to both have great looking titles, and I think it's about time that both of these companies show us the first party games that will be on these next generation systems. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Do you think that it's true that the PlayStation 5, the design, the architectural design of that system is just going to make it a lot easier for developers and they're going to be able to crank out more power out of the PlayStation 5 than the Xbox Series X? Or do you think the Xbox Series X, being the more powerful system, will perform and run games better on it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and like I usually say, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.